She was born almost deaf, and yet early on, angels were whispering to her. Lisa Carmazzi coming up next on Survivor Angels.
It's time for Survivor Angels, an approach to strengthen trauma survivors. Here, you can escape what draws negativity and engage your positive abilities and the gifts that you've always had. Let's activate your angels. And to help you on that journey, here's Chaplain Jodi.
Lisa, my angel soul sister. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, really good. We've been trying to put this together for some time. And between both of us sort of, having the crud, and then the
Yes.
holidays happened,
Yes.
and then just schedules. But thankfully, today was supposed to be the day, and I'm so glad we're finally going to have this conversation.
Me too. Me too. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I can't wait to hear your story. A mutual friend of ours, just for our listeners and viewers, mutual friend Michelle LeBaron. Some of you know her as the Ghost Magnet.
Yeah.
She was the one who told me about Lisa, and it was like, Michelle's going, you have to interview her. I'm going, I have to interview her. The angels are going, you have to interview her. And so that's exactly what we're going to do.
Love it.
Lisa, you have an incredible angel story. So I think I'm just going to let you take over and tell your story, and then we'll kind of chit chat about it afterwards. How's that?
Okay. That sounds great. Angels are all around us and everybody has them. And
Mhm.
I guess some people are more sensitive to their existence and their guidance and their signs and their symbols. And some people have it from birth, some people gain it, in life with things that happen. I was born hard of hearing, pretty much deaf. And my family thought that I was special needs. They thought that I had some disabilities because I spoke as I heard. And so I spoke differently. I didn't articulate. And they just kind of chalked it up to I was a slow learner or what have you. And back in those days when they send you to school, like kindergarten, they do an ear test.
Uh-huh.
And they found out that I was hard of hearing. And they told my mom, no, she doesn't have disabilities. She's hard of hearing. Let's get this fixed. And so I had an amazing doctor, and he fixed my ears, and I can hear now. I mean, I can't hear probably as well as the average bear, but I can hear. But when you're different, especially as a child, you don't necessarily have. I didn't have a lot of friends. I think that we're much more accepting of differences in this day and age, but you have to remember I'm 50. So, 45 years ago, it was a different world. And so while other people were off playing with their little playmates and having play dates and what have you, I had my angels. They were prevalent. That's who I spoke to. That's who could understand me. I could understand them. Kind of came up with a signs and symbol communication, which is really truly how I communicate with them to this day. And when I could hear, I didn't realize that I was, special, that, other people didn't realize that they had angels and what have you and can communicate. But I have 4 prevalent angels that are with me all the time. I have worker bee angels that, I couldn't even tell you their names because I'm just always praying for others and sending them out, to help whoever is in need. And so they're just kind of like the worker bees of the castle, and they just go off wherever they're needed and come back to see where they need to be sent. But I have my 4, and through the years, um, I've developed a really good communication and relationship and trust. There were some rough spots. I always say Harry is my big angel. I mean, he's larger than a room, and he has black wings, and he wears a top hat, and he wears a long black coat. And I always tease him that I must have given him the black wings when I was a teenager because, I wasn't the best teenager. And I think I put him in a lot of predicaments where he was working overtime to keep me safe. And he did. I mean, thank gosh, I definitely did some things as a youngster that I could have been really hurt at, just being stupid, doing stupid stuff. And he was always there guiding me and protecting me, whether I accepted his guidance. He was still there. That's one thing I love about angels is they don't judge. They don't give up on you. If it takes you a lifetime to hear them, to see them, to recognize them, to go the path that they are showing you, then they've won, right? Even if it's a lifetime, they've won because that's what they're here for. And I guess I feel special in a way because not everybody can see or communicate in the way that I do. But for me, it's just been all I remember. It's all I know. So for me, it's just very normal. And now I've just gotten to the point where I just really rely on them.
Exactly.
I really do. I really do. Just for instance, I am changing jobs tomorrow. My last day at my current job that I had was yesterday, and my start tomorrow with my new endeavor. And it was nerve-wracking. I was kind of like, should I do this? It's very in my wheelhouse. It's not anything out of my wheelhouse, but it's going to be a lot of work. I work in the apartment industry, property management, and it's a lease up, which means it's a brand new property that I have to fill up. And I just got done with one. I literally just got stabilized 2 months ago. And so, my husband's sitting there like, really? We're going to do this again? Those 10-hour days, those sore feet, no voice from talking all day. And I just put it in the hands of my angels, the universe, God, and everything was saying, yeah, you need to do this. This opportunity is going to open more doors for you. And it may be really busy for the next 6 months to a year, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth putting in that work. And so I just really rely on my peeps all the time.
So you mentioned Harry. Who
Yes.
are the other three?
So I have Frank, and he is smaller in stature than Harry, and he's bald. Again, I think I made him lose his hair. I think he had hair at one time. And then I have Victoria, who's a fiery redhead. And so Harry, I believe, is really the one who keeps me safe. He protects me. I always describe it as if there's a shortcut down an alley and it's not safe to go down that alley, Harry's the one telling me, do not go down that alley tonight. Do not go take that shortcut. Frank is my voice of reason. He's kind of like my good angel, bad angel, right? When you're doing things because we all sin, right? We're human. I mean, nobody's perfect. So if I'm fixing to tell a fib, if I'm fixing maybe to do something that, Frank doesn't feel is right in that moment, he is my good angel. He is my voice of reason. He's the one who comes in my head and says, I think we can go a different route with this and get a better outcome. And then Victoria, my fiery, she's just so beautiful. Just her hair is like fire. She's really my kind of spiritual path. So when I go through phases of maybe I'm not talking to the universe as much, maybe I'm not paying it forward as much, maybe I'm not communicating with my ancestors who have passed over, and crossed over, and maybe not ignoring God, but maybe not speaking to him as I normally would in a normal pattern. She's one who really puts me back on the path. She gives me signs and symbols that says, okay, maybe you're feeling out of control or spiraling in a sense because you need these things and this is what we need to do to get you back in track and get you aligned with the universe. And then I
Okay.
have Brittany, and she is my blonde, kind of bubbly, I wouldn't say bombshell because almost childlike. And she
Oh.
is, she is like my inner child. She is my goofy. She is my sweetness. She is, she's the one who keeps me young.
Hmm. Right. Kind of like your inner child
She is.
out.
Yeah, she is. She's the one that just keeps me smiling and keeps me laughing and probably makes me a person that other people want to be around, you know?
Right. So, how old were you when you first realized that that they were around you? Were you 2? Were you 3? Were you 7?
As long as I can remember, I don't have a lot of memories before like 4 years old, I think. But
Okay.
they've always been there. My mom said that when I was a baby, I would babble, up to the sky. I would play with things. Like she knew pretty early on, when I talked to my mom and I told her, gosh, and I must have been a teenager at that point when I opened up to my mom and said, I see these things, I hear these things. My mom was very receptive. He never judged, never called me a liar, never said that's not true. She was like from day one, it was just obvious. And she thought it was like great grandparents, that had passed and what have you. So she just kind of assumed that it was their spirit, which I'm sure, because they come and go. But I don't, I sense them, but I don't really see them. I don't see my own people, unfortunately. But she said as long as she can remember that I was engaging with spirit and angels.
All right. So, follow-up question, because I know in talking with other people, some people, when they were children, believed that they had imaginary friends, and the imaginary friends ended up actually being angels.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have the imaginary friends piece in there, or was it always just bam? No, I know these are angels.
Gosh, I think that I always knew they were angels or spirit, you
Right.
know. I didn't, they were my friends because they were the only friends I had for so long. But
Yeah.
I didn't think of them as imaginary. But I also was very keen that other people didn't see them or
Oh,
hear them. I was very keen at an early age that they were mine, that they belonged to me and they were meant for me. And I, you know, I they're just always a part of me. And so for me, it wasn't so much as an imaginary friend, but I think imaginary friends were kind of prevalent when I was younger. People would
right.
talk about that, or there was like movies or shows about it. And so
Mhm.
I knew to be able to distinguish the difference.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, my follow-up question then, because you were in tune with them right away, and with some people this happens, and with some people it doesn't happen. But did you ever have a situation where you got really mad at one of them?
No, never. But I have, there's been periods in my life where I've pushed them out or pushed them
Okay.
away. And in those moments, I knew that they were still there. I just chose to block them in whatever I was going on in my life. We all have trauma. We all carry our own baggage of situations. And so sometimes when I needed to heal, when I actually needed them the most, is when I would push them away, but always come back to, okay, I'm sorry, I need this, please be with me, please give me guidance, please give me signs. And they never left. I mean, they always were there.
Yeah,
So
that's the beauty of them is they never go away. They are stuck to us like glue.
they are. They are. And it's really funny. I can't see everybody's spirit. I can't see everybody's angels, but sometimes I feel that you can get glimmers when they want you to. Maybe there's a message that you need to pass on, that they're allowing you a piece of that, to be
Uh-huh.
able to pass on. Or you'll see things. My daughter, Maddie, she is 20 and she is more gifted than I. And I knew it. I mean, I knew it from birth. I knew when I saw her engaging, I guess kind of like my mom witnessed with me as a child. But I mean, I knew that she had the gift. And I can sometimes see her angels. And sometimes there's a little girl and she was a little kind of creepy almost, and I would have to tell her, don't be creepy and don't scare people. You're okay, but don't move like that. Like you're going to scare her sister, because Ashley, my oldest, is scared to death of spirit. And bless her
Even though
heart.
there's two of you that are
Oh, I mean, poor Ashley, between Maddie and I, not even just angels, but spirit walking among us, they would gravitate to Maddie and I because they knew that we could sense
yeah,
them. And so any home I've ever lived in is a haunted home because it's filled with spirit. They attach to you
yeah.
and they come and hang out, and they come and they leave when their purpose is done or they get bored or what have you. So we always had a home that had the bumps in the night and little spooky things, doors opening and things of that nature. And my oldest, poor thing, would just be like, nope, nope, don't want to talk about it, don't want to hear it, that didn't happen.
So how many angels does Maddie have? You've got four. How many does she have?
So Maddie's interchange, and it's weird too because the little girl has grown, like she's growing, but she's aging, I guess I should say, but it's at a much slower rate than we do as humans.
Okay.
So with Maddie, I'd have to ask her how many that she, has, but hers kind of seem to come and go as well, like worker bees. But three are prevalent that I have seen around her. And one, I'm blessed enough that it's my great granny East. And Maddie is my great granny East through and through. And so I see Granny around her. It's weird because it's like I can't communicate with my own people, but I know she's there. I can see her, I can feel her, I can sense her. She has the little girl who would be now, when she was just here for Thanksgiving, I would say when I got a glimpse of her, she now looks to be about like 16, like that, age.
Okay.
And so she's kind of growing like with Maddie, but at a slower rate. And then Maddie has a man that is with her that also is a little maybe creepy, maybe kind of like hairy for me. So I haven't seen his wings, so I'm not quite sure. But Maddie certainly was a much better teenager than I was. So yeah.
Did you tell her some of your stories?
Oh yes, I am so open and honest with my children. I am very blessed that I have two amazing daughters who are smart, beautiful inside and out, and I don't have to keep anything from them. I mean, we talk very openly, sometimes maybe too open. Sometimes they tell me things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't really need to hear that. But I'm glad that they have that safe space. And now things are coming out when they were teenagers and stuff that they did, but they still weren't very naughty.
Right. That's kind of how it is with my daughter too. All of a sudden, now that she has children of her own, she's telling me stories about when she was a teenager.
Yeah.
But then her oldest, um, the day she was born, when I went in to see her, because I was at the hospital, and so it was a matter of when they would let me go in. I
Yes.
took one look at her and I said, "You are an old soul." And my daughter kind of got a little offended, like, "She's not old, she's a newborn." I said, "No, no, 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 no.
No, her
That's not
soul.
what that means."
Yeah.
I said it means she has been around this universe a few times before, and she's going to be wise beyond her years. And it
Yes.
is so true.
It is.
And
That would be how I would describe Maddie,
okay,
is an old soul. Ashley's a young soul. I'm in between. I know that this isn't my last trip back to the universe. I know that. And I would like to rest. I would like to have my eternity. I would like to be able to enjoy it. Plus, I feel so hurt by the world and everything that we've done to it and what's happening with our earth and the people in it. But I know that my work isn't done and that I'm going to have more trips back to continue spreading love and light as much as I can. Because if I reach one person and it pays it forward, then that's going to pay forward, and it's going to be the domino effect. And that can be just what helps change the world. So I know my work isn't done. I know that I'll be back.
absolutely. Well, and that's good because I think it was 2 years ago, Christmas, I said to the family, I said, "This is my last trip around the universe." And they're like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And I explained it to them. Some of them knew what I meant, but a lot of them didn't know.
Yeah.
And they said, "No, we don't think so." And I said, "No." I said, "Don't get me wrong. I have got a lot of work to do before I leave,
Yes.
but this is going to be my last turn." So, but
Awesome.
yeah, but then you're going to be there to carry on with the angels. So all is
Yep.
good.
Yep. And there's more of us. There's a lot of us out there.
There is. Yes.
And everybody has them. If they would just take the moment to be quiet, take the moment to be accepting, inviting, quiet, meditate, work on their third eye, work on their crown. And they too would have, I mean, we all have them. Everybody's got them.
Right.
So it's just a matter of being accepting and knowing they're there and learning how to communicate. Because I mean, I don't like, I'll talk to my angels, of course, I'll talk out loud, but they really communicate with me as in a thought that's not my own,
Yep.
a movie in my mind, in my third eye. I can see like a movie or a photograph that isn't my, a thought that wasn't mine, that I didn't put there, and with signs
Mhm.
and symbols. And so, of course, that's taken years to, keep progressing and learning more ways of communication. But, it's just even the spidey senses, when people get that hair on the back of your neck that stands up and they're like, woo. And it's like, okay, that is a sign of something. Pay attention, tap into
Right.
it.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, it's interesting because I just read an article the other day that neuroscientists have discovered that not everyone is able to activate their third eye. However, that doesn't mean that the brain can't represent the image in a different way. And I found that really interesting. So, for all of you that are out there listening and watching this, we talk about the third eye. If you aren't capable of opening your third eye, of seeing with that, it's okay. Your brain is still getting, the images or the message, whatever the case is,
Yeah.
according to our neuroscientists.
Yeah. I would love to do a brain scan and do it like when I'm communicating, or when spirit's
Yes.
there and I'm able to communicate. Like, I mean, I bet it just lights up like a damn Christmas tree.
If you do it. I want to do it with you. We'll do it
I'm
side
like,
by
would
side and
that
see what
be
we get.
so cool? I mean, there's got to be evidence of the energy and the sparks and the electricity. I mean, there's got to be, it's got to be pretty cool. I'd love to do
It
that.
has to be. And you can't tell me that the medical professionals who run those brain scans, that they haven't seen it. And I bet some of them understand what it is, but they're like, I'm not saying anything.
I know. Well, and you know what's so funny is in the medical profession, often, not all of them, of course, but often they're very evolutionary. They believe in evolution. They're very scientific. That's what they're taught. That's what they've studied. That's what they worked so hard to get their degrees and, to be able to do what they do. But it's so funny because then at the same time, you'll be talking to like a nurse who's very scientific, and then they'll be like, God, weird stuff goes on in the hospital all the time. The lights flicker and nobody wants to go down in this hallway and this room. And it's like, duh, of course. So you're like basically admitting that there is spirit there, that you believe in it, but you don't. Okay.
I find the most interesting medical professionals to talk to are the hospice nurses or the hospice staff.
Yeah.
However that looks out, depending on what kind of facility your loved one is in, because they can tell you amazing stories about that
Mhm.
whole transition and who is there helping with that. And I could sit and talk to them for days.
And they're so spot on. I've had 3 family members pass with hospice. And I mean, they're so spot on. Like they know. Like, oh, they'll tell you this is going to happen in the next few days, and it does. It's like I marvel at them. I wish I would have gotten into that as a career, because I think I would have been very beneficial to that profession. But I didn't. And at 50, I really just would like to forge on with what I know so I can retire in 10 or 12 years.
Oh, Lisa, this has been so much fun talking to you. I know we're going to do this again
Definitely.
because both of our trajectories are on the angel trajectory, and more things are going to come up with us, more things are going to happen, and we're going to come back together and we're going to talk about those just so people, figure it out through maybe listening to us that, oh my gosh, that thing that I just experienced, that had to be an angel because Lisa and Jodi were talking about that.
Yeah, I wish, like I said, I wish more people would tap into it. I really feel like our planet would be a lot better taken care of. Not just our planet, but how we take care of people and how we treat people. And it would just be such a brighter place. There would be less discord. But they're all the angels are out there fighting. They're all fighting for good, for peace, for to let the chaos subside. They're all trying. They're all fighting to say, listen to me, hear me, see me, speak my truth. And hopefully, as more and more people open, as more people that are already receptive and open learn how to navigate and how to communicate and um, how to share, with other people. That's our only chance at saving this planet is really tapping into what the universe provides with this energy that we've got all around us.
Yep. And it's happening. The awakening, the opening, it's already happening. And you and I, we're gonna be there and we're gonna help to shepherd them on through.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you, Lisa. Until next time,
Thank
keep
you,
those angels
Jodi.
activated.
Love and light.
Thanks again for joining Chaplain Jodi on Survivor Angels. For more information, go to chaplainjodi.me. That's chaplainjodi.me. And on Facebook at Survivor Angels Chaplain Jodi. This is Dave Schrader. Until next time, sending you off to activate your angels.